Welcome to my easy and efficient Zulrah guide. I will try to keep this short and to the point, so let's start with the setups. With the max setup, you will want off plate, the full set, no helm, Bellator ring, vernic threads, ferocious gloves, amulet of rancor, and the Noxious halberd. Also, you'll notice in my quiver there are atlatl darts, and we will get to that soon. And on the right you can see the other sets that I will talk about next. This next setup switches off plate to Blood Moon, which has the same strength bonus as Bendo's. And it's not terrible DPS, as you can see on the right, it's about 0.3 DPS less. The third setup also downgrades to Echo Boots, which have some nice utility at Zulrah, which you will see in the first kill clip shortly. This last setup loses the Bellator ring, as well as Infernal Cape, Amulet of Rancor, and also the Blood Moon. So it is significantly cheaper, but also without the Bellator, it is significantly less DPS as well, almost one full DPS drop from the last setup. And as you can see, the Noxious halberd is in every setup. It is essential for melee Zulrah. This brings us to our inventory setup. With the inner rune pouch, I have the following runes, and in the inventory, the rest use both Vengeance and Spellbook Swap for thralls. I take 2 Divine Super Combats, 2 Extended Antivenoms, 1 Surge Potion, Crystal Halberd, Ring of Suffering switch for killing the Snakelings, an Eclipse atlatl, and enough anglers to leave 2 free spaces open for the loot. Remember to use the deposit box at Zulrah, so you don't have to bank very often at all. I would take more teleports as well, but apparently I only withdrew 1. This kill was done utilizing the Echo Boots. I checked that they are active, and while I run over to the pier, I cast Vengeance into Spellbook Swap, and as I click the boat, I will click my prayer right as the box appears, and this will get you in a couple ticks faster. Then I cast the Thrall. I hit 3 times with the Noxious halberd, 1 time with the Eclipse atlatl. I decided not to pray rigor here because I knew I was gonna lose a tick. And lastly, a Sea Heli spec on the first phase. This is the same first phase for every setup. And now this is where it gets a bit interesting. I have the Echo Boots, they explode in a 3x3 where you're in the middle tile. So here I know I'm gonna get hit. So I go between all of these snakelings. I get hit once and it kills all of them, which is really nice. And this setup does not use the recoil ring, so you have to position yourself. And as I have this one snakeling following me, I run over to drag it, then I go next to it, and when it hits me, it'll die. And then it is just business as usual. And I believe it dies in this phase. Yeah, I don't have melee. Oh, I do have a melee snakeling on me, but if a melee snakeling hits me, it'll just always die. And Sea Heli spec to finish. Oh no, it died. Anyway. I decided to include examples of every single rotation. I dubbed this one rotation 1. And as with everyone, we start with 3 Nox Heli hits, 1 atlatl and 1 Sea Heli spec. Actually hit very hard at the start there, which shows the potential for this. In this phase I do 4 Noxious halberd hits into 2 Crystal halberd specs. Yeah, recast Vengeance. Unfortunately hit a 0 there. In this phase swap to Ring of Recoil and Range Spray. I believe you can fit 4 Nox Heli hits here, and then it goes to the next one. This I call rotation 2. It has the long range phase next. I have quick prayers as piety and protect from magic, so I can swap from the orb, because I find that easier. Going from the atlatl to the halberd. Here I do 3 Noxious halberds into 2 crystal halberd specs, which I believe utilizes. I think there's 1 tick that's lost there. Something to note about the atlatl is that it's extremely low accuracy, but it has good potential, and I only use it when I just cannot fit any other hit in. And here, if you have the echo boots, you're going to have to maneuver with the snakelings. And easy as that. Something to note that you can also start with you doing 1 Noxious halberd hit into 3 crystal halberd specs. I just prefer spreading out my specs. And for example, in this rotation, which has the melee phase next, I can either do 3 Noxious halberd hits, or I can do 1 Noxious into 2 crystal halberd, which I find a lot better. You could also do 3 Noxious halberds and 1 atlatl. In this phase, you can do 3 crystal halberds. 3 Noxious halberds. And this phase is very long. Didn't count the exact amount of hits, but it often dies on this phase. Melee is very consistent with DPS, which is why I prefer it over any other method really. And as you stand in the middle here, you won't get racked by the poison. And when it phases, you go over the pillar. Sometimes if you click like through the pillar, it will stall you there, like happened to me. So try to adjust camera. This last rotation, I feel like it's the most common, but I don't know if they actually have different rarities. I just seem to get this one a lot, so maybe it's recency bias. Not sure. Anyway, start with a melee phase. So again, 1 Noxious into 2 crystal halberd specs. And taking like 2 ticks of poison damage is just, it makes it easier there. Don't have to path around, and this is all about like being easy and efficient at Zulrah. So I just path into the poison. If you're anti-venom, it doesn't venom you anyway. And here I switched to range prayer for a tick there, because if it spawned as range on the south side, I would have needed to pray. Here I'm actually stalling. I don't want to kill it yet because I want to show this is the only phase you actually have to use atlatl for. Because you do 4 atlatl hits, I believe. Yeah, 4 hits and then you can melee. And that's all the phases. I hope this guide has proved helpful. You can get up to 40 kills per hour with this, and as you can see during my recordings, for a little over an hour I got like 38 kills, but I took a couple of breaks and made sure the recordings were working, so it is definitely sustainable to do 40 kills an hour, but usually it's like, I'd say between 35 and 40. In each case it's a lot more efficient than T-bow only, or Shadow only, or Ayak only. It is slightly worse than the max efficient setup, but the difference is so small that I'd rather save my wrists and just do it the easy way. This setup only has 3 switches, and it is very laid back once you get the hang of it. I've been really enjoying this setup and been grinding Zulrah more because I feel like the setup is actually like pleasant to use. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll be sure to read any questions and answer to the best of my ability. And that is it for the guide. I hope this helps you in your future endeavors.